Hi everyone, and welcome back to the channel for another video. So this video is slightly different. I got a 3D printer and I'm just going to show you guys something I did to modify it. This is the Anycubic Kobra, which I like a lot. Actually, for a budget printer it's quite good. I added this little filament sensor in case it runs out, because what I normally tend to do, it takes a long time to print things, so I normally print either overnight when I'm asleep or something like that and just let it run. This is the spool holder that came with it, which wasn't, I mean, you know, it's a budget piece, but the problem was the spool. For example, this would go on it and then it would kind of twist and slide, or sometimes it would twist a little bit and then you'd retract and it would kind of bounce, and it just seemed to be creating a lot of stress for the feeder mechanism, which is here on the print head. This is direct extrusion version. So I decided, let me go and figure out to fix this. I found many online which were not really for the Anycubic Kobra specifically. So I decided, hey, you know, I have a 3D printer, so I just make my own. So I have made one up here. And right now I'm going to take it apart and show you how it goes together. So here are all the components. This was the old spool holder here, which goes on, that goes through the metal arm. There's a hole in it, it holds that. That's the cap that holds it in position. We don't use that anymore now. This here is M8 by 120. You can use an M8 by 120 or an M8 by 140. I have parts in there to fit both. Here's my lock nut. And the special thing about the lock nut is, you'll see on the top, it has a little kind of a plastic nylon, or I'm not sure what material that is, but it basically keeps it in position. If you don't have one of these, you can use two normal nuts and turn them against each other. It's a bit more difficult, but I would suggest a lock nut. Two washers, nothing special about them. If you don't have any washers, I put some in the print. You can print some if you like. So this here is kind of a lock nut. It's a left-hand thread, which will go on to this, which is going to fit through the back of our arm of the Anycubic device. I have both left threads and right thread designs, because some people prefer left thread, some people prefer right thread. The idea is, if you have a spool like this, and if your spool is maybe touching this and your spool is continuously turning left, eventually it will turn this left, which would loosen it if it's a normal right thread, but if it's a left thread, turning this way will actually tighten it. So, I mean, I've tried both. It doesn't seem to make any difference really for me, but it depends on how you print it and the quality that it prints out. Okay, so this is going to start on the back. We're going to put that through the hole. The next thing we're going to do is put this onto it. So you notice now that I have here a left thread, so it's turning left is tightening. That holds it in place. Then you'll see that there's a hex head here. So when you've printed this out, you'll need to kind of clear this out if there's any stringy bits or anything like that in there, and you can push the bolt in and out several times until it gets cleared. That'll go there. Then you twist it and it should fit flush down into it. Push it a little bit. There we go. That fits flush. That's in here. If I can do this without blocking the camera too much. Next thing I'm going to do is, okay, so this will be tightened down there. Then you can use a washer if you like. It's not necessary, but I put one on there. You can use one of these if you like instead of that, or you can put both for fun if you like, but you don't really need both. Then I've printed this. This one is a right-hand thread. Again, you can have left or right-hand thread depending on which one you prefer. Put that through several times on both ends just to get everything loose. That would slide on here. Okay. The arm of the device would be where my hand is now. The next thing I'm going to do is I put a washer on the front, and then my Let me show you this here. So I've made this just to make it easier. So instead of using tools, we can pop our lock nut in here, and now I can twist this by hand. So, you know, it's not necessary, but it makes life easier. And then we twist this down here. So, you know, basically the looser it is, the easier it'll spin. I don't want it to spin that loose. And then if you make it really tight, it won't spin at all. So obviously you have to find a happy spot that it's just rotating, you know, just nicely, but not spinning by itself. Because if it spins by itself, when the printer pulls some filament, then it might keep spinning, and you'll end up with a big tangled up mess. But you don't want it difficult, so you want it like that. Now see, if I spin it, it kind of stops. It'll spin gently like that. That's it. Then the next thing you will do is you get your spool. You'd put your spool on. You'd get this spool clamp and twist it in. Okay, let me just... So this is why I prefer the right-handed thread, because it's just easier for me. Twist it in. That hole's in the middle. This piece is on the machine, and now my filament will roll off just like that. Okay, if you use the 140 nut, that's going to be longer, and then you should print off the 140 piece. This fits fine for me. I have some rolls that are smaller, I have some rolls that are bigger. They all seem to fit. The 1 kilo rolls also fit. I don't want too much thread here because I don't like twisting it off. So the first few times you twist that on, it'll be a little bit stiff, and you know, just make sure that you kind of get rid of any pieces. There may be some little stringing pieces inside there. You get rid of them. You can put it on one way, then the next way, then this way, and clean it off like that. So now I'll just show you a quick clip of it on the machine. Here's the spool holder. All the parts are online. You can download them and print them. It's free. I hope you enjoy it, and I hope it works well for you. So let me give you some instructions on how to assemble it. It's pretty easy, but maybe it's nice to just see it once on a video. This is going to go in here. Now, the first design I had, I didn't actually have anything screwing this down. It also worked fine, but I must remember this is left turning thread. It's okay. Now, I don't like to make that too tight because it'll never come off again. It's very well put on there. You could put a little bit of grease there if you liked, but it's not necessary. Then put that washer on here. Put this washer on here, just using a lot of washers. The next piece is going to go, there's a little stringer from the print. It's going to go in here. Washer on here. And then that's going to twist on there. Okay, that's too tight, obviously. There we go. That's what I want. I don't want, maybe, there we go. Nice gentle spin. And now if I want to put on a roll, I can put on, actually I already have a roll here. This roll is much smaller. It's less than 1 kilo, it's maybe half a kilo, but it fits multiple different ones. I'll slide that up here. I like to put my finger on the back to keep the thread in. And now, yeah, it's quite a small roll, but there we go. And that's it. So now, as I want to pull my filament, okay, can you see? You see, it rotates just nicely. And when I do a retract, it's not going to hop back and forth. So it should be just very easy to pull. There you go.